It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the UBC Okanagan's head softball coach, Coach Doug Allin. How are you doing today?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you want to get started in coaching in college softball?
Well, as I started when I started coaching the young women that I was preparing all the way through youth sport, the team was having some success, and my goal always was for the players to get to go to college to play because that was what they were aspiring to do. So our objective as coaches was to eventually get them to that point where they were offered scholarships and the opportunity to play college ball. My girls that we coached, I think about 8 of my 12 went to college on to play college softball. And, for me, I thought it was over for me when it came to coaching with the girls because I was coaching with the Canadian men's team. And then the opportunity came along. So I didn't really see that in my future too much. It was more of an opportunity that came up, and I was gonna take advantage of it because I knew a lot of the players and I knew what the team was looking to do, and it was just something that I really thought would be a fun thing to do.
What was that experience like getting into coaching and coaching on the national team level?
Well, my first year with the national team, we won the World Championships, and it was the first time that Canada had won a gold medal since 1992 in the World Championships for softball. So it was an amazing experience. I got to be a part of a collection of people that will walk together forever in history as a world champion. And it was very surreal. It was very humbling. The approach that the athletes took was just something to be able to pass along to other athletes as I go through my coaching career. It offered me so many opportunities to share with success, and it was just an incredible journey for me at that time. So since then, I've had the opportunity to be a part of multiple medaling teams for Canada, and it definitely takes an army of people to have success. So yeah, that's one thing that I've really learned about the program is the great people that are involved.
What was that experience like for you getting to coach at the World Championships?
Well, my first time coaching with the U23 team at the World Championships as a head coach was pretty nerve-wracking. I got to say, I mean, because you're in the games go so fast. The speed of the play is the fastest in the world. I mean, these are the best teams in the world. So thinking on your feet, being in the field of play at that time and in those moments, it was very humbling. I said that word already, but it was humbling, and it just made you adjust yourself relatively quickly. So it was amazing, and it felt comfortable though at the end of the day.
What was that transition like getting into college coaching and transitioning from the national team level?
I think the one thing with the national team is the difference is I'm coaching athletes that I've scouted across Canada throughout the summer or the last couple of years and assembling a team. The college team is a team of athletes that are aspiring academically. UBC is what we call it. It's an Ivy League school. It's a great education you get, and the athletes are balancing their education along with their athletic excellence. And to me, the difference is that the girls have to be so refined with their time. They don't get to waste any time because every minute counts between work, personal life, coaching or practicing and lifting and education. So they got a lot of balancing to do.
For you, what was that feeling like stepping onto that softball field for the first time as a head coach?
Well, with the UBC team, it's been from I started off at a camp with the girls, so it was fun. I think there's a lot of nervousness amongst the athletes because they don't necessarily know you as a coach, and it's getting to know you and your style. and they quickly got to learn it. And I think some of them, some of them like it. Some of them are just going to have to get used to it. But it is a different time because everybody's just trying to figure out who everybody is.
Of course, what has that atmosphere been like on game days?
Well, I've been around the team on game days, and I've seen the interest that they have and the keenness that they have to get on the field. Our girls are very, very dedicated athletes, and they just can't wait to play. For me, the excitement of taking this team onto the field next year is something that I'm really looking forward to. So I can't speak to it yet because I started in December, and unfortunately, we don't have games until late August of 2025.
Of course, what will that feeling feel like to step onto that softball field for the first time as a head coach?
Well, for me, it'll be something I'm really looking forward to. I know I'll be nervous. It's natural. I know that I'll be wanting to make sure the team has success. I want the team to be comfortable. There'll be a lot of emotions for sure. But yeah, I would bring it back to nervousness and excitement.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you started to help to build for the program so far?
Yeah, one of the things that's important for me is developing the team culture. The team culture is predicated off of the things that we do together, the way that we push each other, the respect. The game is built around respect from my perspective. I grew up around the game when everything was about respecting the way that we play, the way that we represent ourselves, the way that we represent the school, the way that we represent each other. The culture of that is one of excellence, one of teamwork, and one of commitment and preparation. So, yeah, the culture is good. I think the athletes are still kind of getting warmed up to that part, but they're definitely getting a feel for what the culture will be like.
Who are some of the teams that in your conference that you'll be facing?
We'll face Victoria. We'll face Victoria. We'll face Mount Royal, Calgary Dinos, SAIT. There's a few more of the universities, Saskatchewan Huskies, Regina. There's quite a few teams out there for us to face, and getting into the Canadian Championships, we'll see some better teams from across Canada as well. So there's virtually some unknown, but you'll note all the names of the universities are the ones that we're all commonly known, whether it's the Western Mustangs or schools like that. So there's a lot of them.
What will that game day atmosphere feel like at home playing against teams like St. Saskatchewan?
It's interesting because the girls really look forward to playing at home because they travel so much, they travel so far, and they put in so much time. The game day atmosphere is definitely, you can feel it, the excitement, the energy, the enthusiasm, and more so the desire for excellence because the girls just want to have great games because they don't get to play in front of their families and their home fans very often. So they're really, really chomping at the bit.
What is that atmosphere like on the road when playing teams like Mount Royal?
It's kind of a feeling of, sometimes you're traveling and you have that little bit of fatigue and you're rolling in on the bus and you're feeling a little bit lethargic, and then then you start to really kind of get yourself into game mode, and the adrenaline starts to get rolling, and you can see that in the athletes, the way that they're preparing, the way that their energy is trying to get their shoes or their cleats on or their socks on. You know what I mean? They're just, you can start to see that really build. So it is something that the athletes will explain to you when they get to the field and they see the field is perfectly lined. They can smell the fresh cut grass, and the fields ready to go. The umpires start to show up, and you start to hear the sounds of the park, and the energy just starts to build and build and build, and it is something truly that a baseball player or softball player can appreciate.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes looking to play collegiate softball?
So the athletes, first thing that I always tell the athletes coming to UBCO is you're coming here for the Ivy League education. Softball is something that I want you to do well at, but at the end of the day, for me, it's important that you understand that you're coming to get an education. I just believe as a parent, as a father, that's the first and foremost thing. When it gets time to play ball, though, when we're going to practice it effectively. So the athletes have to know that coming in, that you're coming here for your education. If you're coming here to just play ball, this isn't the place to just come play ball. But if you're coming here to develop excellence in academics and ball, then this is the place. So, there's a real eye opener for some athletes, because they have to understand that there is some things that it's not just about playing softball.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that uniform for the first time?
So I've only observed the team from afar. I've seen it on the national team with the players putting the jersey on for the first time. The look of proud, how proud the athlete looks. They just want everything to be perfect. So there is a lot of pride in the approach to things, and I think anybody that is an athlete in that regard, that putting a jersey on anytime is nothing better than your home uniforms going onto the field. So there's a lot of pride.
In the future, what will that feel like to see those seniors putting it on for the last time?
It's one of the things that I've really thought about is how do I make that a special event for them? For me, I'll be coaching them for the first team for the first year, but the seniors will have been there for 4 years. And I've got to try to find a way to make that special. I know that I'll be bringing in their past head coach to send them off, because it is going to be, Michelle's opportunity to send the girls off. But for me, it's going to be a surreal time, because I know it means a lot to them, because for some of them, it'll be the last time they put on the uniform, and for some of them, it'll be the start of their careers. So yeah, it'll be an emotional time for sure.
As a head coach, what is it going to feel like to see them putting on that Canada national team jersey for the first time?
I there's one thing about putting Canada's colors on. When you step onto the field, or you step onto the elevator, and you're coming out as a team, and everybody stops and see Canada. We've been in Argentina, New Zealand, Czech Republic, different places like that, and people do stop and stare. And when they do that, it helps you understand that what you're a part of. You're a part of something so big, because you're representing your country. And I think the athletes start to really get a feel for that, because the athletes that have worn the jersey before with so much pride and dignity, you can only learn from that. And those first-time athletes, they see how those senior guys carry themselves, and you watch them start to do that over time. I got to see it over 10 years and watch a few cycles, and I watched a lot of young men grow into very mature, strong representatives of Canada. So it's kind of a proud time to watch them. Even though they're doing it themselves, you watch them and you're just really happy for the country.
What are some of your future plans for the program moving forward?
Well, one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the structure of the program is one that is very stable and predictable. The other things moving forward is developing stronger year-round representation for softball with the girls. So we have a little bit more to build on, because the program is essentially 4 to 5 years of building capacity in the athletes. So I don't want to just take advantage of the time in the season. I take a lot of time in the off season to work with them to refine some of the skills. So we're doing that, trying to bring a lot more awareness to the program for those that were here before, Joey Frey and Michelle Webster, the prior coaches for the program. It's important that the legacy of the program is continued and developed. So that for me is bringing in what I can bring in to ensure that the program has the opportunity to grow and potentially become stronger.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college softball?
Be direct and honest about wanting to come in. If you're kicking tires just to see what it looks like, that's fine. Just be honest. But at the end of the day, I think what you really want to do is, if you really want to come to the school, tell the coach that. Be very upfront and honest and direct. Let them know this is your first choice and this is where you want to be. We do know in the game, there's a lot of folk, or a lot of athletes that are, just seeing who's interested. I'm interested in the athletes that are, number one, is 100% committed to it, that they're number one committed to their education, and they're showing up and demonstrating that they're prepared to play. To get that part of it, we can turn you into a great softball player. You just need the base points of being a great person and a great drive and great assets to bring forward. so then we can shape that into the complete athlete.
What advice would you give those juniors transitioning into being seniors and leading the program?
Be humble, be supportive, take the time to really, really enjoy the time that you have. You think about it and I've said this to a couple of athletes, that think about this now. You're sitting back 10 years from now. Do you have any regrets? Did you have any regrets? Did you do everything you wanted to do when it came to the game? And did you be the person that you really wanted to be? And that's it. And it leaves them to think about that, because then they can turn that into what they're looking for.
What advice would you give those college athletes out there that have aspirations of playing professionally and representing the Canada national team?
Keep going. You never know how far you can go. And I think the one thing is, some athletes continue to mature and get better over time. There's some athletes that are just great from the get-go. But there's other athletes out there that really, really aspire towards a dream that they have and goals. And I would say keep going for it. You just never know. The ability to go play professionally, I mean, you're going to find yourself, there's not going to be your leagues here. You might have to go to Italy. You might have to go to Europe, or you might have to go other places, but you can go play. It just depends on what you want out of it. And there's so many opportunities in softball around the world that I think are untapped. There's Japan leagues, or the Japanese leagues. There's leagues in New Zealand, Australia, Argentina. Softball is big around the world, so it's important that they really look at it globally. Don't just be looking at it for Canada.
What advice would you give those head coaches that are looking to build their own program, build their own legacy?
It's hard work. It's a lot of work. Nobody's going to do the work for you. You need a great team of coaches to build a great program. You need a great manager. I've been very, very fortunate to have great managers. Our current manager is great support person, Casey Wright. She does a great job. And in the past, if teams have had that, you have to assemble your coaching group that has the desire to commit the time to do the work. So that's the start, because it is hard work and a lot of hours.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you on social media along with the program at?
They can follow myself on Instagram. They'll be able to do that and follow us at UBCO Softball. They'll be able to find us there. And with Softball Canada, we have our link, and our social media team there is great. They'll be able to direct people along to individuals.
Thank you again, Coach, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thank you very much for taking the time to ask me the questions and to share the information about our UBCO softball team.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.